Money 111, man. I'm with Flipper, man. I'm having. Skirt, skirt. Let's get it. Flipper. Whoa. At my family. Only good. Might do. I want a Grammy. I like this stun a lot. Had to get the bitch that's fancy. Pull up, stir in the pen. I never did me a Chevy. White Billy came a long way from dropping the shit. I'm swerving and my back have been hurting. Why am I chain really heavy? I'm swerving down the court. You would think I was Kyrie Irving. I'm having. I'm with the flipper. Ball me my breeches 1K for my zipper. Hands to the sky like a. Your chest make you jump like a nigga. I'm busy, I can't check my calendar. Expensive dinner, no caviar. Big mansion, one room, lavender. Wanna book me, hit my manager. Have it like O'Neal, walking like what's the deal? 10 rooms, pay one deal. Can you really keep it player? Can you really keep it real? Box Chevy for the summer, new bent for my mother. Good gas, low number. Like the old school thunder, water on me like a plumber. This 111 QC, I know that you wanna be me. You claim you're real, but you squealed. If you got status, they call you OG. No dinner table, but shorty. I'm blessed, I don't gotta sneeze. For the haters, I got the best for the. I got the best for the. I used to buy rings. Triple camera then flash. I am the one that you see in magazines. Flash, fresh when I still get off a 30 by myself. Uppercut with the left. What you gonna do with the wealth? On me like a bike. You bitches struck on my fans in the face. They tell me they love me as more than a like. They fake, I check them like knives. Now my whole life. Don't know what's a 9 to 5. Skipper pouring up the. Give her like motorbike. Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice. I'm having eyes on me, look like the poltergeist. Jeans on me cost a rack. Tap my name on her back. So it's better. Run them like running back. I've been just the one nigga, remember that. Understand me. Take care of gang, cause that's my family. Only we can't do no. Want a Grammy. I make the burst.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, everybody. Ernie Johnson here. Shaq's here. Kenny's here. Welcome to this edition of 2K Sports. In this game, we'll see the Chicago Bulls against the Hawks in Atlanta. Looking at the last game for Atlanta, it was a win against the Heat.
Our setting tonight with the lights of downtown Atlanta shining in the background. Welcome everyone to this 2K Sports broadcast live in Atlanta. 2K Sports is proud to present NBA basketball. With Brett Barry and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan, and David Aldridge will be joining us on the sideline as well. Taking a look at Chicago, they've lost their last 3 games, and guys, they'd like that streak to end tonight here.
Yeah, and Kevin, things are starting to get a little bit out of control for them. This losing streak is starting to become an embarrassment, and it's only going to get worse if things don't change.
Let's check out Chicago's starting lineup. And down low, it's Markkanen and Carter. Rose is out there with Levine, and it's Porter in at the small forward position. And so it's the Hawks heading on the board first. Pass to Markkanen. On the wing, Levine. Very little locked in at this point, Brent, but sometimes it feels like the best teams are just waiting for the playoffs to begin.
Well, there's always this idea about building up for the playoffs, and I think over the past 5 or 6 seasons, most of the talk that we have is about those teams being as healthy as they possibly can be. And I think that's the time in the season we're at now, Kevin. Make sure that everybody is 100% ready to go, not just mentally, but physically.
The coaches got to keep their focus, right? I mean, that's tough to do.
The coaches do, but the good ones start that process maybe in the last 15 games of the season to try to ramp things up so that guys feel ready to go once the end of the regular season comes.
Let's send it over to David Aldridge, who caught up with head coach Lloyd Pierce. David.
Well, Kevin, we talked about how they've won 2 of their 3 meetings against this team this year, and he said they can create mismatches against them on offense. He said if we set picks well and force them to switch, we can score. We'll see if they can replicate that strategy tonight, Kevin. Back to you.
Nice job, David. Thanks. So, guys, they're focusing on the offensive end here early.
And that means we could be in for a good one. If they really do execute like Coach wants them to, this could be a high-scoring affair.
Concentrating on offense doesn't mean fast break or open court action. Sometimes it's just about running plays and getting the best possible shot with each possession.
And where's the help? Obviously, a missed rotation, something they're going to want to patch up.
Well, you have to be able to trust each other on the defensive end of the floor. Otherwise, the whole thing is just going to crumble.
Here's Young, following the score by Derrick Rose. Back to Young. A good finish at the rack off the slick feed.
More and more signs of the skill set of Taurean Prince as he finds an open teammate.
On the wing, Porter. Gets to the rim for two with the D all over him. Porter's got his first 2 points of the night.
Defensively, you cause the miss, but then you have to corral it.
Well, that's the second part of the equation there. Block out, be aggressive, and control the glass. You can see how clued in the defense is to take away those mid-range shots and challenge. Solid at getting a hand up in the face of the scorers.
And he makes that one.
And you love to see Rose operating as a playmaker first and foremost.
And now the first timeout called here for the Hawks. Well, Brent, as a former dunk contest winner, I have to ask your thoughts on one of the great Hawks of all time, the terrific human highlight film, Dominique Wilkins.
Well, Dominique, one of the greatest athletes this game has ever seen, and one of the most feared dunkers, obviously, of his era. You remember a lot of the highlights with Neek coming in, flying in, and finishing off a shot that might have missed from the opposite wing and going up over the top of 2 or 3 guys. So he certainly doesn't get enough credit nationally for the type of offensive firepower that Neek provided for his beloved Atlanta Hawks for years and years.
So Chicago ends up going with the new group.
Coaching staff high-fiving themselves there, watching that team move the ball around, doing whatever is best for the team.
The pass to Young. And here's Ariza. Right side, Thomas. Well-timed pass, and he goes straight to the bucket for the layup.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Bounce pass, Young. 1 up, 1 down. 2 points with his first shot this game.
You know, a stellar floor general. Young has that uncanny ability to find his guys at the right time.
Young against Thomas. Ariza outside. The dish to Powell. Count the bucket, and he's got a free throw coming up as well.
Yeah, the chemistry has been terrific. Really impressed with their offensive execution.
And this is his first trip to the line tonight.
And so far this season, shooting at a 75% clip from the line.
Just over 3.5 minutes gone here in the first. Anthony against Ariza. Now here's Anthony. Still getting warmed up offensively. No scoring yet from him. The three from Thomas, and that one released in time, but no good. And so the first quarter is in the books. Bulls out front. They finish off the first quarter with a 13-4 run. 2K Sports back. And now, in a different stage of his career, Carmelo Anthony adjusting to a new role on this team.
We all had to accept whatever the role is for each individual. And I think it started with me to just accept that role and ask the guys, what do you need from me? Ask Coach, what do you need?
And that adjustment, you know, Greg, not without hiccups for a lot of star players.
No doubt. It can be difficult to accept a diminished role, but if Melo is going to finally win a title, I think it'll have to be as more of a secondary player.
And for those of you just tuning in, the second quarter of action is where we're at right now. And taking a look at Chicago's performance here, guys, what have they been doing or not doing?
And boy, I tell you, it didn't take them long to find their rhythm. Strong offense through one.
A nice game plan coming in, and right now sticking to it. It's a nice lead that they have.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. On the court for Atlanta, just 3 to shoot. The shot by Powell, no good. The Hawks trail by 5.
Man, that 2003 draft class, just an absolute monster. And Carmelo Anthony, the 3rd pick that year. Think about it, LeBron, Melo, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Heck, 3 or 4 of those guys played together, but all taken in the first 5 picks. What a great draft that was for the NBA.
So Chicago ends up going with the new group. Second quarter, and we're just over a minute in. And plenty of contact on the shot, so 2 free throws coming up. And there's the foul. This goes against Atlanta. The Bulls shooting their second and third shots at the line right here. And you know, in that 2003 draft, the Pistons famously picked Darko Milicic over Melo with the second pick.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty familiar with that, Kevin, at this point. And Melo coming off such a terrific season at Syracuse, where he led the team to the national title as a freshman. And crazy to think, if the Pistons had taken him, I don't know, how many more wins would they have piled up at this point?
Looking at the last game for the Atlanta Hawks, it was a win against the Heat. Just about a minute and a half has gone by here in the second. And the officials calling for a 3-second violation. The Hawks trail by 7. Outside, Davis. And here's Prince outside. Bangs home the trifecta. Prince has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Rose with the ball. He averages a bit over 6 points a game. Carter right side. And Davis sends it back. Let's break here. Here come the Hawks. Here's Washington, and he caught that pass in full stride on his way to the big slam.
And nicely done. Running the floor well, then attacking the rim.
The exclamation point in transition with the high percentage finish.
Levine kicks to Markkanen. And there's the defensive 3-second call. Last season, Brent, the addition of 2-way contracts. Does that make developing players in the G League even more valuable than it was before?
I believe last year, Kevin, that almost 50% of the players in the league, and might have been a smidge more, had some kind of G League experience.
It's terrific.
And that's phenomenal.
Yes.
We're almost close to the 30 for 30 affiliation in the G League. You saw a success story last year in Quinn Cook coming up and getting a contract with the Warriors. This is awesome for the league. They've also upped the minimum contract for G League players to $35,000. All of these signs and the way that teams are using the G League, extremely positive, Kevin. Like the tactics on defense there, refusing to give the shooter the easy layup at the rim.
Rose scanning the floor. Carter kicks to Rose. 5 on the clock. And 2 free throws coming up. Unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It's going to be on Trae Young.
And the explosiveness of Rose, quick on the drive. That's why you see him getting fouled there.
And Rose drops them both.
As we've gotten closer to halftime, their style has become more and more physical.
The Hawks trail by 7. 46 seconds left to play here in the half. Young passes to Collins. And finished off by Collins.
You just can't leave anyone open around Young. He's very capable of spotting his uncovered teammates.
Here's Rose. And the layup's good off the glass. Rose has got the lead up to 7 now for Chicago.
Beautiful execution from him, building off a great first quarter, looking unstoppable here.
And so Young will bring it up for Atlanta. They come in fresh off a win against the Heat.
Just a terrific effort off the bench. Guys came in, they seemed fresh, and they all contributed.
Well, most of the time, guys come off the bench and just try to stabilize. Tonight, they got some serious points, and when you're on the road, it gives you unanticipated advantages.
Young against Rose. Out to the right wing. To the middle. Here's Carter. Count the bucket coming off a perfectly placed assist. Carter's got his first points of the night.
And they've repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid off.
And so that brings the first half to a close. It's the Bulls leading by...
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hey, it's good to have you back. You're watching the 2K Sports Halftime Show. This right here is Kenny the Jet Smith. It was a closely contested first quarter for Chicago. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. Looking at the Bulls, how about you, Shaq? What did you think about Chicago?
Well, they're getting higher percentage looks, good game planning. The ball is moving around. Guys aren't pulling the trigger at the first thing they see.
And that does it for our halftime show. We now take you back to Kevin Harlan for the start of the third period.
We played through the first half. Plenty of basketball, though, left in this one. Gotta like what Derrick Rose has done in this game.
Yeah, good things happen when you maintain composure. Their shot selection has been extremely disciplined.
Hey, Greg, is there a shot that he's taken that has been out of the flow of the offense? I don't think so.
And tipping off the second half, here's Jim Boylan's 5. And down low, it's Markkanen and Carter. Levine is out there with Derrick Rose. And it's Porter in at the 3 slot. Passes it to Levine. Over Prince. And misses it off the right side of the rim. The Hawks trail by 7. Washington passes to Prince. Porter pulls it in. The Bulls shooting impressively throughout at 62%.
And looking at Prince's game, you know, he could be the ultimate complementary player. A good shooter, doesn't need a ton of touches, solid enough on defense, and is showing signs of improvement.
Young with no one around. Traps in the trade. Young's got 7 points.
The first thing that jumps out at you about Young, that seemingly limitless shooting range and the spacing that affords for this offense.
Rose against Young. Rose up on top. He's got 9. Good defensive work there by Young. Hawks shooting pretty good tonight at 48%.
And a tough game for the guys around him, mainly because his shot's been hit and miss.
To the middle. Here's Carter. That's good, and it's Levine with the assist. Levine's got 3 assists in the game. The Hawks trail by 8. Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. 5 years from now, who do you think will be the best player in the NBA?
5 years from now, the best player in the NBA will be
Antetokounmpo? I'm going to go.
Wow.
I'm going to go and just say that right now.
Do you think he'll be the best player in the league?
If he does not get injured, I think he'll be the best player in the NBA. 5 years from now.
Okay, that sounds good.
Give me another name.
Is Joel Embiid going to be the man in the league?
I like it if he stays healthy. Of course, you can say that with anybody. Right?
You can say it with anybody, but Joel Embiid might just be that guy.
Special talents. Thomas checked in for Rose. Now let's take a look at the list of players who have been absolutely lighting it up. These are the NBA scoring leaders over the last 10 games. The 4th spot held by Zach LaVine.
Quite a role he's been on. I mean, a pure scoring display. Eventually, teams might find an answer for him, but that's not been the case here lately.
Back to Thomas. And that basket pushes the lead to double digits. And it's a 10-point Bulls lead.
And giving up some height, he just finds a way to carve out a little separation.
This is sort of the joust of the NBA where the aggressive player, more often than not, wins out.
Len up top. Bazemore for three. Nailed from three-point land. Bazemore's got himself on the board with three there.
Yeah, that's 2 straight three-pointers they've allowed.
A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. Thomas kicks to Markkanen. Carter outside. On the wing, Levine. Shoots over Bazemore. Levine can't hit.
I'm just wondering why the defense is laying off. Luckily, they didn't pay for their mistake.
Shots good from Young.
Great to see when Melo spots his open teammate. Good at noticing the overcommitment that time.
And the first timeout of the game called for Chicago.
Carmelo Anthony, one of the most formidable scorers ever. Top 20 in points all time in NBA history. All right, a chance to look at some stats for Zach LaVine. How's the last month of basketball been for him? 5th in scoring. And he's among the top 20 players in three-point field goal percentage. He has been locked and loaded from beyond.
And as you said, one of the NBA's most potent scorers. Always up to the challenge. His top 5 ranking has him right there with the elite. Thomas finds Levine. Shoots from 12. No good that time. And Atlanta will go the other way with it. Back to Bazemore. The Hawks working the ball around. He gets that one.
And not being as aggressive from the three-point line anymore. They had a lot more attempts in that first half.
Bazemore against Levine. Pass to Thomas. Down low. Here's Markkanen. Banked in off the glass. Markkanen's got his first points of the game.
Hey, look, you got to keep Markkanen out of the paint. He's just too big on that block and imposes his will.
Anthony against Markkanen.
Not a lot of defense there. You can't afford to let guys shoot freely from the mid-range. They're not going to miss those all that often.
And that's going to do it for the third quarter. Bulls lead by 5. Don't go anywhere. The final quarter is coming up next on 2K Sports. And let's take this chance now to show you the State Farm assist of the game.
Just true artistry right there. I mean, great decision on where to go with the ball, and how about the perfect delivery?
Yeah, those are the kind of plays that you want to put on a canvas. Just beautiful basketball.
We've reached the fourth quarter, and what has been a very competitive game should be an exciting finish. The Hawks trail by 5. Alex Len out there with Collins. Then there's Kent Bazemore. And it's Washington in at the point. So that's the Hawks 5. It's hauled in by Thomas. And here's Thomas, who brings it up for the Bulls. They've led by as much as 10. And following this game, they hit the road to challenge the Bucks in Milwaukee. That matchup falls in the middle game of this 3-game trip. Now Bazemore. And the pass to Washington. Goes up on the wing. Collins kicks it to Bazemore. Makes no mistake on the open jump shot.
You might want to close a little faster to Bazemore, especially in the mid-range where he's been pretty consistent.
Pass to Porter. Back to Thomas. The feed to Porter. Passes to Markkanen. Pass to Harris. Shoots it up. Rebounded by the Hawks. And the call will be against Harris. That's his first foul. So for the Bulls. Carter, he's checked in for Harris. Dean comes in for Rodney Magruder. And Derrick Rose is subbed in for Thomas. Stolen by Rose. On the wing, Levine, guarded by Prince. Now the pass to Markkanen. Here's Levine. Outside Rose. He kicks it to Markkanen. Over Davis. And Markkanen gets it to go on the assist by Rose. 6 points for Lauri Markkanen. The Hawks trail by 7. To the paint. Here's Washington. Carter with the block. Now here's Rose. The fast break opportunity. Blanketed by the D. He fights to the rim for the layup.
And this is what Rose brings to the table. When he gets out in the open court, he doesn't take his foot off that pedal.
Prince wide open. And once again off the mark by Atlanta. The Bulls leading by 9. Outside, Levine. Back to Rose. On the wing, Levine. Outside, Rose. He drains it as the shot clock ticks down. And now an 11-point Bulls lead.
And Rose ready at the drop of a hat to make a big shot, big play with time running down.
Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. They're trailing by 11. 1:22 left here in the fourth quarter. And now we get the chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Derrick Rose.
Yeah, and his percentage from the field tonight seems almost made up. I didn't think it was possible to have that kind of success shooting the basketball. You need a little bit of luck, a bunch of hard work, and a whole lot of talent.
He'd finally had enough of their losing streak, and it's going to take something special to regain some kind of momentum. And his effort has been very special tonight. Bulls have gone an outstanding 4 of 5 from the field in the fourth quarter so far.
And we'll just watch the clock wind down, guys, in what will turn out to be a win here for the Bulls.
We got to see a display of offensive prowess in this one that got it done. High-scoring game.
Bucket after bucket. They were really in attack mode all game long.
And so the hard work and effort paying off tonight, putting another win in the books. That'll be win number 27.
And this victory will draw them even in the season series as it comes to a close.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for Derrick Rose.
And he was remarkable. Absolutely destroyed the opposition. Any matchup he had tonight, it felt like he was going to dominate.
And it's Carter missing.
And you got to give him credit there. Great effort to contest that shot.
Well, I love the fact that they put the security system on their house, protecting the paint there.
This game looks like they've got it just about wrapped up.
Yeah, just got to work that clock and take care of the ball.
He doesn't hit the first, and that was the one they really wanted. He's got one more, though.
And Markkanen is a perfect candidate for that stretch 4. Outstanding at pulling the trigger from deep and not afraid to go inside and bang with the other bigs.
Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. They're down by 10. We've got 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Guys, what's your take?
And just trying to salvage anything at this point, even if it's just some momentum heading into the next one.
Well, it's all about doing your best with the time that you've been given. It's the only thing really that you can control as a player. So let's see what they decide to run. Well, Picasso couldn't have drawn that up any better. Perfect execution off the inbound.
Rose against Young. Rose kicks to Levine. It's good. This time the assist from Rose.
Yeah, with this lead, that's probably going to do it. Fans heading for the exits.
Now the team came in fired up from the opening tip. See the focus. We're ready to do battle.
And you can see the play calling this half. Another one from distance.
Yeah, no question. It looks like they've rented out room along the perimeter in this ball game. And they're likely to keep doing this until the defense makes an adjustment.
So the Bulls win it. This was a hard-fought, well-earned victory for them, Greg. They really had to work for this win.
That's a good point. I mean, weaker teams might have buckled at the end with the crowd amped up.
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy. Out of my mind, out of my mind. Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me. Too many times, too many times. My love, it makes it feel like nobody else, nobody else. But my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, one, don't pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's walking alone. Two, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Three, don't be his friend, you know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're a man, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. I keep pushing forward, but he keeps pulling me backwards.